Hello and welcome to Movies Digest. There are thousands of movies available on Netflix that many of us haven't watched yet. So in this video, we'll reveal the top 10 must-see movies now available on the streaming platform, featuring outstanding performances and engaging storytelling. These films transport you to different worlds, capturing your interest and leaving a lasting impression on your cinematic experience. So without any further delay, let's look at these 10 movies from Netflix's enormous film collection. Number 10, Under the Shadow. It is a psychological horror film directed by Babak Anari, set in Tehran. In the midst of the 1980s conflict the story centers on, and her child, Dorsa, whose flat is struck by a rocket, causing to think that a sinister jinn has been following them. As Shita fights to safeguard her daughter, she is forced to navigate the mystical terrors and extremely real threats of the war-ravaged city. The story skillfully uses a setting of cultural and political instability to increase tension by bridging the gap between psychic and supernatural evil. The film maintains strong environmental suspense throughout and features engaging performances that complement its outstanding mix of horror and social satire. Number 9, Wheelman. It is a 2017 crime-action thriller film directed by Jeremy Rush. The movie features Frank Grillo as an anonymous delivery driver, occasionally known as Wheelman, who gets into trouble when a bank heist goes wrong. The plot begins with Wheelman collecting up a vehicle for theft during the heist. He gets a phone call from an unidentified handler who tells him to desert his group and grab the cash for himself. This choice places him in a dangerous situation, as he has to deal with a chain of lies and brutal encounters throughout this. Wheelman must determine who betrayed him while saving his loved ones from dire consequences. The majority of the action in the film takes place within the car, giving it a tight and dramatic atmosphere. This unusual style makes the film stand out. The film's strongest features are Grillo's portrayal and the wound, quick-pace plot, but its execution fell short of maximizing its original idea. But overall, it is a good pick for action movie fans. Number 8, Revenge. It is a 2017 revenge action thriller film directed by Key Ferret. The story revolves around Jen, who takes her rich boyfriend Richard on an intimate vacation to his secluded desert property. Soon after, Stan and Dimitri, two of Richard's buddies, interrupt their getaway to go on an unexpected hunting adventure. The story takes a magic turn when Stan assaults Jen and the guys, including Richard, dump her in the middle of the desert, presumed dead. Nevertheless, Jen makes it through the vicious violence, and the movie chronicles her transition as she sets out on a bloody mission to exact revenge on those who attacked her. Her trip is filled with violent scenes and extreme violence as Jen uses the barren terrain to her benefit, while she tracks down every one of the guys who caused her suffering. The film subverts the usual vengeance genre by showcasing a unique viewpoint and a strong female lead who assumes charge of her story. It features strong action sequences, a vivid color scheme, a well-directed stylistic approach, and an impressive performance by Lutz that never stops entertaining the viewer. Number 7, Pandora. It is a 2016 disaster action film directed by Park Yun-woo. The plot begins with a sequence of breaches of security and failures at the Hill nuclear power plant. Ignoring concerns from many of the employees, management ignores serious issues, resulting in a fire at the complex. In the midst of the mayhem, retired plant operator Jay Hayek feels obligated to return and teams up with other employees and rescue personnel to stop additional disasters and evacuate surrounding homes. However, things get worse when political agendas get in the way of their efforts, making the already grave situation worse. The film's narrative concentrates on the themes of bravery, sacrifice, and the fallout from human arrogance and selfishness. It portrays the hardships of common people caught up in the wake of man-made tragedy and their struggle to survive against unbeatable odds. In the end, the movie serves as a warning about the risks associated with reactors and the significance of practicing appropriate technological maintenance. It is a great watch for anyone who likes to watch survival and disaster movies. Number 6, Believers. It is a 2018 action crime film directed by Lee Hee-young. The film revolves around Detective Won-ho, who embarks on a quest to take down a huge narcotics syndicate headed by the mysterious Mr. Lee. But when Won-ho's insider is murdered, the plot takes a dramatic turn, but not before before he offers a tip that might ultimately result in Mr. Lee's arrest, the narrative advances as one. Ho's inquiry gets more intense when he teams up with Rack, an amateur drug supplier who consents to work with law enforcement in return for a shorter jail term, which leads to a number of high-stakes encounters and missions. As they investigate further, they learn that the real Mr. Lee is plotting something sinister that they need to identify and stop, while Brian Lee, the owner of an industrial business, is pretending to be Mr. Lee in order to gain control over the organization. The film's compelling story, dramatic action scenes, and nuanced characters are its best qualities. It stands out despite having a traditional plot owing to how well it is done and how well the actors play their roles.
Okay.
Number 5. Love and Monsters. It is a 2020 monster adventure film directed by Michael Matthews. The narrative takes place 7 years after a monster apocalypse that destroyed much of the plan and drove people to take refuge in underground shelters in order to escape the enormous mutant monsters that currently walk the Earth's surface. The tale revolves around Joel Dawson, who resides in one of these shelters but grows lonely and unhappy after reuniting through broadcast with his former high school love Amy, who now lives 80 mi away in a seaside colony. Joel decides to go on a risky trek to get back together with her along the way. Joel meets a variety of terrifying monsters and makes new pals who teach him vital ways to survive and give him the confidence he needs to face the difficulties of the monster-infested planet. The narrative is full of thrilling action sequences, personal events, and heart-stopping scenes, but it also has a surprisingly deep emotional core as Joel discovers the meaning of bravery, relationships, and love. The film's inventive creature designs, seamless fusion of humor, emotion, and action, and endearing main performance by Dylan O'Brien all contribute to its overall success. Or 4. Shadow. It is a 2018 action drama film directed by Zhang Yimou. The film is set in the era of the nation's 3 kingdoms and skillfully combined stunning fighting choreography and political drama, all portrayed in a distinctive cinematic manner. The main character of the tale is Commander Zhu, who is severely injured in combat with the powerful rival King Yang Kang. Unable to battle, Zhu assigns a shadow, a copycat named Jinu, to take his place while the actual Zhu recovers and prepares to exact revenge on Yang Kang. The Shadow receive covert training in combat and strategy as Zhu. Throughout the film, Zhu has to confront with the unstable Pingle Yang and the intrigues within the royal palace, while masterminding a convoluted plan to wrest back the city of Jinzhou from the aggressive province of Yang. The action scenes are visually arresting, showcasing creative weapon concepts and fighting sequences that emphasize the yin and yang theme. The film features amazing cinematography that uses simple colors to provide an eye-catching effect. The cast's performances, ESP, especially DCHA in his dual role as Zhu and Jingzhu, as well as the creative direction and action techniques, support the film's rich stylistic and narrative aspects. Number 3. Fear Street Part 1, 1994. It is a 2021 supernatural slasher film directed by Lee Jeannock. Also, it is the first of the 3 Fear Street movie series. The narrative takes place in Shadyside, a small town that has endured decades of horrific killings. The movie centers on Dina, her sibling Josh, and their close companions Kate and Simon, as they learn that the recent murders have a connection to an ancient curse. It all begins when Dina's ex-girlfriend Sam confronts the ghost of Sarah Fire, an alleged witch from 1666. And strange and tragic events start to take place in order to survive and break the curse the party needs to uncover the sinister past of the town. However, as they learn more, they come to understand that Sam is the most recent victim of the witch's curse, which sets off a terrible chain of encounters with former feed murderers. The film pays tribute to 1990s slasher flicks with its blend of terror and nostalgia, as well as its great character development. It strikes the ideal mix between violent horror and engrossing narrative, providing a promising beginning to the trilogy that concluded with a satisfying climax. It's a good choice for fans of horror and slasher films. Strategy is Zhu throughout the film. Zhu has to confront with the unstable Pingle Yang and the intrigues within the royal palace, while masterminding a convoluted plan to wrest back the city of Jinzhou from the aggressive province of Yang. The action scenes are visually arresting, showcasing creative weapon concepts and fighting sequences that emphasize the yin and yang theme. The film features amazing cinematography that uses simple colors to provide an eye-catching effect. The cast's performances, ESP, especially DHHA in his dual role as Zhu and Jingzhu, as well as the creative direction and action techniques, support the film's rich style Project. It is a 2022 science fiction action comedy film directed by Sean Levy. The narrative centers are now Adam Reed, a jet pilot from 2050 who travels through time and unintentionally crashes in 2022. There, he runs across his 12-year-old self, who is still processing the news of their dad's death collectively. The two Adams set out to safeguard the planet from extinction and join forces with their deceased father, Lewis Reed, an exceptional quantum scientist whose research on time travel forms the core of the storyline. After overcoming a number of obstacles, Adam and his team stumble across Massaran, an entrepreneur who has used time travel technology to her advantage to become extremely powerful. While Adam now has to figure out how to stop her from taking over the world, the film explores themes of loss, reconciliation, and the value of family, while fusing dramatic scenes with heartbreaking sequences. It fits into the description of a traditional time travel movie, but it's nevertheless a lot of fun because of Ryan Reynolds' performance, engaging action humor blend of nostalgic nods to beloved sci-fi stories and emotional core. If you haven't seen this yet, add it to your watch list.
Part all along. He's smart.
Number 1, Hostiles. It is a 2017 Western drama film directed by Scott Cooper. The movie takes place in 1892 and follows the story of experienced Captain Joseph J. Blocker as he receives orders to take Yellow Hawk, an An Cheyenne military leader, and his entire household to their Montana tribal territory. Despite his ingrained dislike of Native Americans, Blocker is compelled to complete the task after his initial resistance during their travels. They meet Roz Al Wade, a devastated woman whose family was killed by Comanche soldiers. After their early disagreements, the group grows closer as they confront obstacles and dangers as a team during the voyage. Blocker faces his preconceptions and gains compassion for Yellow Hawk and his family, which challenges his perspective overall. The film explores themes of redemption, forgiveness, and the ability of humans to change, while providing an interesting representation of the American West. The film offers a raw and genuine experience thanks to its strike cinematography and strong performances from its characters, especially Christian Bale's portrayal of the troubled Captain Blocker. It's an unsettling trip through the complexity of the wilderness that forces audiences to face the terrible truths of the past while providing sympathetic human experiences. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video, and do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestion.
What war?
This will be done.